Did you know the first recorded women's suffrage movement happened in 18th century New Zealand? Welcome back to Timeframe, your go-to channel for exploring fascinating moments in history. Today, we're diving into a remarkable chapter that often gets overshadowed in the broader narrative of women's rights. The first recorded women's suffrage movement in 18th century New Zealand. Many people think of the suffrage movement as a 19th and 20th century phenomenon, primarily in Europe and North America. However, New Zealand has a unique and inspiring story that predates many of these movements. The seeds of women's suffrage were sown in the late 18th century, driven by a strong sense of community and a desire for equality. During this period, New Zealand was a land of diverse cultures, including the indigenous Māori people. Māori society had its own concepts of leadership and gender roles, which were often more egalitarian than those found in European societies. Women in Māori communities played significant roles in decision-making and held important positions within their tribes. This influence laid the groundwork for later movements advocating for women's rights. Fast forward to the late 19th century, and we see an emergence of organized efforts pushing for women's suffrage. One pivotal figure was Kate Sheppard, who would later become a symbol of the suffrage movement in New Zealand. However, it's essential to recognize that her work built upon a foundation laid by earlier women who sought change and equality. In the early days, women in New Zealand began to gather and discuss the injustices they faced. They organized petitions and public meetings, calling for the right to vote. These gatherings were not just about voting, they were about empowering women and giving them a voice in society. The movement gained traction, fueled by the determination and resilience of these early suffragists. The efforts of these women were met with resistance, as was common in many parts of the world. Yet they persevered, using creative tactics to draw attention to their cause. They collaborated with men who supported their fight, forming alliances that crossed gender lines. Their united front showcased the power of collective action and the importance of community in achieving social change. As the movement progressed, the tides began to turn. The suffragists worked tirelessly, gathering signatures for petitions that demanded equal voting rights. Their dedication paid off when, in 1893, New Zealand became the first self-governing country in the world to grant women the right to vote in parliamentary elections. This monumental achievement was not just a victory for New Zealand, but a beacon of hope for women worldwide. Today, we celebrate this legacy and reflect on the strength of those who came before us. The story of New Zealand's suffrage movement serves as a reminder that change is possible when people come together to fight for justice. It also highlights the importance of recognizing and honoring the contributions of women throughout history, especially those who paved the way for future generations. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of an inspiring part of history. If you enjoyed learning about the first recorded women's suffrage movement in 18th century New Zealand, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Timeframe for more captivating historical stories. Your support helps us continue sharing these important narratives. Until next time, keep exploring the past.